Subscribe and hit that bell icon to be notified about the highlights of India's smartest podcast, The Ranveer Show. This is TRS Clips. You were an investment banker. And back in college, when I didn't know what the I wanted to do with my career, if someone asked me what I wanted to do, I used to say that, I want to become an investment banker without really understanding what it was. And then I had an internship at EY in my final year of college where I was working in M&A. And that's what I kind of understood what investment bankers did, but not exactly, because I also figured that investment bankers in different firms do different jobs. So explain that. Like when someone says I'm an investment banker, I all like snorting coke and like I all like calling people and going woo when you'll close a deal.
I part of me wishes that was true. But I can, before I answer your question, I think if you ask a graduate today what they want to do, I think the answer is they want to be a YouTube influencer.
Oh shit, that's honestly true.
I think that's now what's happening.
You know why though?
Why?
It's like a platform to get into another career. Ya to you get into acting, ya to you get into like business, and I think audiences are smart enough to know that by this point.
That's
anyway,
true.
go on.
Yeah. An investment banker, very simply, is if I was to I'll answer the question on the life. I think that's more interesting. But very simply, an investment banker helps companies raise money or advises them on M&A transactions, right? And it's
What is M&A? Just explain that.
M&A is a merger and acquisition. Maybe I put it in a different way, right? For any story to be told, there needs to be a storyteller. Okay, you are a great storyteller, but there is a story that needs to be unfolded, that unfolds on this set here. An investment banker unfolds the story for companies who are looking to raise money, right? There's a way of telling that story that makes that story more attractive or brings out the right aspects of it.
Is it like doing sales for that company in boardrooms?
It is. Okay. And then after you sell after you communicate the story, there's also a certain execution process that needs to happen to bring the story to an end, right? To make two people meet. And that's what an investment banker's job is. If I was to explain it very simply, I unfortunately joined banking. It was very boring. I started my career in 2010 in banking and worked for an absolutely fantastic firm, right? As blue chip as it gets. I think I cannot replace that experience with anything else at Morgan Stanley. And
Morgan Stanley is probably the dream job for a lot of MBA grads in this country, right?
I definitely think so. And I can tell you that it's also the right culture, right? It's the place where the professional, the team is there, really will nurture you to be a better professional. So I couldn't have started my career at a better place than Morgan Stanley.
What's the rush of that career?
The rush of that career, maybe I can just give some examples from what gave me a real kick, right? I think I was about 2 years into my role, and I was sitting in a room with Sachin Bansal, Binny Bansal, and listening to them explain us how they're building Flipkart, right? And getting to hear, like as a 24-year-old, getting to hear from the guys who are creating India internet, right? India e-commerce, on what their journey has been. There cannot be a bigger rush for a fresh MBA to have that kind of opportunity, right? God. Or to be in a room with Deep Kalra, who's the Make My Trip founder, just coming out of a US IPO and telling about his journey at building Make My Trip. I would think genuinely that the most people who stick around in banking stick around for the learning. Okay.
Intellectual stimulation.
For the intellectual stimulation. Because you see, money at some point of time serves its purpose. Right? I think money is really important. Okay. But at some point of time, money serves its purpose. It's not, and you will never, I think very few people can be slaves of money. All right. Money can't keep you in office for 120 hours a week. Okay?
This is coming from a finance guy.
Yeah, this is coming from a finance guy who's gone through all sides of it, right? And I've also seen the other side of it as being an entrepreneur and having zero salary, right? So I can tell you that in both situations I was working 120 hours a week, all right, and it was never the money, right? The money could have been like the hook. You saw a girl and she was really good looking, and that's how you began the relationship. but that's not why you stayed in the relationship, right? That's not why you were happy. You were happy because of something else. I think that's the same story for banking.